Hi, my name is Olivia Burnett, and I am not a neuroscientist, but I'm a recent high school graduate and current college student. So I'm going to walk you through how to apply for college. This is geared towards high school seniors, but if you haven't started your senior year, don't worry. There is still plenty of work to be done. So before your senior year starts, I would recommend creating a resume. I'm going to have a separate presentation on that in more detail. Even if you don't have a lot of work experience, this is a good place to at least start. Have a template that you can keep filling out later rather than having to start from scratch when you really need a job. I would also work on building relationships with trustworthy adults who can write you a letter of recommendation, so your teachers and coaches. You'll need probably 3 or 4 people you can ask to write you letters. So start thinking about that now. If you have a particular field you're interested in, see if you can find people in that field, talk to them about their college experience and their career path, see if that's something you'd be interested in. If you have an opportunity to job shadow, that's a great idea. Your junior year is also the time to take the ACT or the SAT. Most schools will accept either score, so even if you just take one, that's great. If you retake the test, your score will probably go up, but again, probably just by a couple points. So if that's something you're interested in, then work on retaking it too. This is also a time to start talking to your parents or guardians or whoever, if anybody is going to help you pay for college. Start talking to them about their expectations. Like, do I need a certain GPA for you to help me? Will you help with housing? What's a reasonable budget? That way you don't have unrealistic expectations about what you can afford for college. So August, this is probably before your school will start. The common application will open. So this is where you will apply to most colleges, use the Common App. It's really helpful because you just put in your personal information once, and then there's college specific requirements that you'll have to do, but it saves you a lot of work of having to apply to everything separately. If your college isn't available on the Common App, then you can apply through the school's website. I would start working on this as soon as it opens and try to get as much done as possible before the school year starts, because you're going to be really busy and you're not going to feel like working on college applications. So for the Common App, you'll get on the website, send in your high school transcript. You may need an official transcript from your counselor. So in that case, email them. They'll know what to do. You might be able to self-report your test scores. If not, you will need to request them from the ACT or SAT website. You'll have to put in your parents' occupations and their education history, so you know what degrees they've earned, where they went to school, a list of academic achievements you have, and then some identifying information. And then based on the school, you'll need a personal essay. You might need to write additional essays if you're applying to an especially prestigious school. Some letters of recommendation the requirements will vary. And then for some schools, they might want you to write about an activity you participated in high school. If you have access to a treasure map on the back of the Declaration of Independence, that would be very helpful, but if not, then no worries, it'll be fine. So the personal essay causes a lot of stress, I think, for applicants, but it's really not too difficult. The Common App has about 7 different prompts. They change a little bit every year, but these are some common ones. Really what they're inviting you to do is to tell a story about your life that illustrates who you are as a person. Every year they also let you write an essay that doesn't follow a particular prompt. I would be careful with this. I would recommend sticking to a prompt because they give you the prompts because that's what colleges want to hear about. So what you really want to show in this essay is why you are a good fit for this school and why you'll be a good investment. So tell a story about your life that says, you know, I am going to succeed in college. There's a 650 word limit. You cannot go over that. I would write about something creative, something that is in your own voice, but I would not write about COVID. I would not write about a sports injury or a vacation story, something that was just like fun that happened to you or interesting. I'd pick something that has a deeper meaning. There's a link in the presentation to some college essays and how you could work on them. I would also, as you're revising, read it out loud or share it with a friend or a parent and have them check it and make sure that it flows well, that the grammar is good, and it makes sense. So let's talk about how to pick a good story. So the movie Encanto, that would have made a great college essay because we have the interesting story of Mirabel's magical family and how she's trying to break this curse, and they're singing songs and live in this magical house. But the point of the story is not really about the house or the curse or anything like that. It's a story about how she brings her family closer together and how she, you know, heals bonds between family members that might be broken off. So there's an interesting story with a deeper meaning. So assuming you're not a Disney character, you probably don't have a story that amazing, but you could have a story that's, you know, when I was little, I jumped off the high dive, even though I was really scared. But that's a bad college essay. That's not what colleges want to hear. What they want to hear is, when I was little, I jumped off the high dive, even though I was really scared. Then I learned that I could do things while I was scared. So I'm going to college, even though that's going to be something that's frightening for me, but I'm going to give it my all, just like jumping off the high dive. So if you want to make an okay college essay into a good college essay, you put a point to the story. But again, I would make it something unique and original, and it'll be great. So once the school year starts, start talking to your teachers for letters of recommendation. It may be a little awkward to be like, hey, could you tell a college that I was a pleasure to have in class? But teachers do this every year. They're fine with it. If an application doesn't specifically ask for an academic recommendation, I think it's a great idea to ask, you know, your coach, your boss, a religious leader, something like that for a recommendation. I would recommend asking in person. And then once you ask in person, then you'll send them a follow-up email that has the information of where to send it. I would give as much notice as possible, 6 weeks, because your teacher may be happy to write the first letter of recommendation, but by the time they're writing the 35th letter of recommendation, they might not be as thrilled once you ask. And then you also want to give them a good outline so it makes their job really easy. So for teachers that you want to pick, people who you have a good relationship with, if you really enjoyed their class, if you want to study their subject in more detail in college, then those are the sorts of people you want to ask. So once you've asked them, then here's kind of an email template if you want to even just copy this and fill it in. So we tell them what the recommendation is for, why you need it, what you want them to include, where to send it, and when. So here's a filled out example. So we need it for University of Utah for their biology department. So kind of get an idea of what to tailor it to. You have specific examples of what you want to him to write about. So I stayed after class, I tutored other students, I did really well in the midterm. Here's when I need it by, and here's where to send it. So he can say, okay, well, great, I'll write all this into a letter, then click on this link and submit it. Then get your grade. All right. Well, that's the end of part one. We'll come back for part two of the fall and winter, which will be financial aid and scholarships. Thank you.